Warren Buffett started off with very little. He was a middle class person. He had a few $1,000s, and now you see what that's become. He invested. He actually had one investment that he put in the S&P 500 for about $144 in 1942. That investment around the year 2022 will be worth. I think it was $2 million. I think it's $2 million that this $142 investment or $144 investment will be worth. So what you got to really understand when you see money is you got to see the past, the present, and the future. You got to have good financial vision. And because I have a PhD, I can see it a little bit better than a lot of people can. So when I see something, I don't see what it is. I see what it's going to become. Like when my daughter told me she was pregnant. She's my adopted daughter, but she's my daughter. I love her very much. When she told me she was pregnant, I didn't see an embryo. I saw a person. When I saw a grown up, I saw somebody who's going to grow up and have kids and become become an adult and get married and live a full life, right? So my point is to say that when somebody loses, a few $1,000,000, you got to realize they're losing a lot more than what it appears that they lost. Now, some of you are asking, when is the live stream for the All Black National Convention? When does it start? Are you able to see me? Are you guys able to see me and hear me on the Black Financial channel? Because it looks like maybe this Wi-Fi, I might have some Wi-Fi issues. Let me know if you guys can see me and hear me. Charles, Adrian, Anita, let me know if you guys can see me, because you're asking when does the live stream start. And I didn't know if you were talking about this live stream or the live stream from the convention. The All Black National Convention live stream starts Saturday morning. So you can watch that at allblackeducation.com. I'm here for the All Black National Convention now. I was actually talking to Willie D from the Ghetto Boys this morning. He's going to be one of our guests. And we're actually talking about some moves I actually plan to make in the music industry. There's a lot of artists that I put out there that have blown up. And I was like, I think I'd like to actually do some business in the music industry. Okay, so you can see and hear me now. Okay, good. So anyway, if you want to watch the convention, you can go to allblackeducation.com. That's our educational streaming platform. So feel free to join us there. Now let's move on. Okay, so Hammer had 200 employees. A lot of them, I'm sure, were freeloaders and taking money and doing whatever. And so my question, for him would have been, okay, look, you got all these people on your payroll. Which of these people are actually adding value, and which of these people are just taking money? I think that's really important too. You see, when you think about MC Hammer and the fact that he had 200 people that he was paying, there's nothing wrong with having 200 employees. There's nothing wrong with having 200 people on payroll. Like somebody who thinks small would say, "Oh man, you had too many people getting paid off of you. That's why you went bankrupt." But that's not actually true. That's like to say that is like telling an athlete. Let's say an athlete is 250 pounds and he isn't as fast as he needs to be, or he doesn't play as well as you think he can. You might say, well, you're 250 pounds. That's why you can't play, because you need to lose weight. But what if he's an offensive lineman? Or what if he is, what if it's 250 pounds, where it's mostly fat as opposed to muscle, right? It's not so much about, or muscle versus fat, right? It's not about the weight that you are. It's what is that weight there for? What is that weight doing for you? Debt is like having extra weight on an athlete. Some athletes gain weight deliberately because they want to be stronger and better at what they do, right? Some athletes lose weight because they want to be quicker. They need to be swifter and more nimble, right? But whether you want to lose weight or gain weight depends on what you're doing with that weight. An athlete that is all muscle may need to gain weight, because if he gains weight, he's going to have more muscle and he's going to be stronger. Some athletes need to lose weight because they got so much fat. They need to get rid of some of that fat. So ultimately, what money does is money makes you more of what you already are, just like weight gain makes an athlete more of what they already are. So if you're mostly financial muscle, then you should have more debt. You should have more employees or whatever, because you and your company are a productive asset. And something that is inherently productive, if you make it bigger and stronger, it's going to be more productive. That's why a big company like Apple will go borrow $1 billion, $10 billion, because they are so productive that they're going to take that 10 billion and turn it into 50 billion, right? But a person who isn't productive shouldn't borrow any money, because if they borrow the money, they're not going to know what to do with it, right? It's like getting a rental car and you ain't got nowhere to go. Why would you get a rental car if you ain't got nowhere to go? But if you can go drive across town and go make, $1,000 a day, then you'd be stupid not to get a rental car. You'd be stupid not to take on that expense, right? So Hammer having 200 employees is not a crime. It does not make him stupid. What makes it bad is that I would speculate that a lot of these people were fat and not muscle. he probably had half of those people collecting a check and weren't adding value to the bottom line. And so if he had 200 people though that were helping him take his brand and take his companies and build them up and get them going, they were competent people and capable people, then it would be perfectly fine. So never think that, so a lot of times, entertainers and athletes, they get hit by what I call the curse of generosity. We want to help everybody. We want to take care of the hood. We want to create opportunities for everybody and stuff like that. And that's cool, right? If you are making sure that these individuals are productive assets for you and they help you improve your bottom line. Like I have team members, I got a whole entourage. My entourage is so big, you would think I was a rapper. Like I'm down at the convention right now. I'm rolling deep. You come mess with me. I got security. I got team members. I got assistants. We got reps. We have all different kinds of people here because I need a team, right? That helps me get the job done more effectively. But make no mistake about it. When we decided which team members were coming, we had to pick people that were going to be productive. If you just want to come and hang out and just sit around and do nothing, then you couldn't come, right? So there's nothing wrong with what he did. I think that, if you want to be generous, like if you're a person that, blows up and makes millions of dollars and you want to hook up the hood, nothing wrong with hooking up the hood. Just position people and train yourself to run an organization in which every individual is incentivized and gets the opportunity to become a productive asset for your company. If they are a productive asset and they're positioned in the right way, in the right context, then you can pay them tons of money and you're okay with that because the more you pay them, the more money you make, and then you're doing better, right? So if you want to help relatives, don't give them charity. Give them investment. A little bit of charity is fine, but charity should be temporary. Charity is not sustainable. You cannot take care of a grown-ass person like they are an infant or like they are elderly or like they're disabled. Charity is for those three people. It's for people who are children, who are elderly, or they're disabled, or they're temporarily down on their luck. Black people inherently are not in that category. Black people can be as productive as we want to be. So don't carry unproductive assets on your books. Carry people around you, that are going to actually add value. Okay. So hit the thumbs up button, by the way. If you're watching on the Black Financial Channel, if you guys could please hit the thumbs up button. Instagram, I don't think you guys can do anything, but anyway, if you're watching anywhere else, just share stuff like that. I appreciate that. And also don't forget the All Black National. If you want to come to the convention live this weekend, we're going to be here for 3 days in Houston. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. I think I saw somebody who was said that they're VIP, so that's good. I look forward to meeting the VIPs. And Hoodoo Financial says Hammer told me personally that his payroll is $500,000 a month. That was back in the day. There's nothing wrong with having a $500,000 a month payroll. You just got to make sure that you're paying people for a reason other than the fact that they're your friends. I see your question about taking your child out of the public school. That's not the scope of this discussion today, but we actually do have a homeschool program in the Black Business School. So we teach everything in the Black Business School. It's better than any university you've ever attended. Just give us a try. Go take a look. You can actually get started for free. Go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. There's a rep right there on the system waiting for you, and just talk to them and tell them what you're looking for, and they can help you out. Okay, so the other thing that got Hammer in trouble, in my opinion, is heavy commitment to fixed costs. Fixed costs are different from variable costs. Variable costs go up and down depending on how much money you make. Fixed costs are high no matter what, right? So fixed costs include things like child support payments. Like that child support payment is going to be the same no matter what. Where, a car note is a fixed cost. Rent is a fixed cost, right? And so what happens is that when times are good, when the money's here, we could be tempted to have a lot of fixed costs because it's like, okay, I make $3 million a month. What's another $5,000 a month payment? What's another $2,000 a month payment? Who cares, right? So the fixed costs get high. So it's like water coming up, right? And you're okay with that because you're flying high. But what happens when you start to dip? Well, you get down here, you're underwater suddenly, right? So if you have fixed costs, you better have fixed revenue. Right now, if you're a guy who's got a guaranteed deal in the NBA where you're guaranteed $10 million a year, and you're guaranteed that for a 10-year period or whatever, then yeah, maybe you can have $1 million in fixed costs per month. But unfortunately, if as a hip hop artist or even in professional sports or even as an actor or actress, people get in trouble because their money's not fixed. They get money, they eat, they're either eating good or they're not eating at all. And when you don't eat good, sometimes you have to engage in what is called income smoothing. Income smoothing is where when times are good, you're storing nuts for the winter. When times are good, you're preparing for when times will be bad. And when times are bad, you're living off of when times are good. So instead of your income, your money, that you spend on yourself going like this, up and down, up and down, up and down, it kind of does this, right? Where you're living below your means on a regular basis, just in case something goes bad. The inability or the lack of desire to prepare for a rainy day has been the financial killer for most people that are going broke. Most celebrities that go broke are people that are overly optimistic about their future prospects, and they believe that that the last album was a hit. I got another album that's going to be a hit. Last movie was a hit. I believe the next movie is going to be a hit. And almost every damn time it causes them problems. Will Smith openly, God bless him, he talks a lot about how when he made his second album, all that money was spent before he even made it, and the second album flopped. So he was stuck. Now Will is in a different position. He's a little bit wiser now. Now he has a better fixed income kind of thing because he's able to he runs his overbook production, and he's got all these different ventures going where he's got really diversified, a widespread of diversified revenue streams, so that the chances of Will Smith just having a year where he makes no money at all is slim to none. But if you're a rapper where all your income's coming from your next album, you're kind of in a really vulnerable position. And when you're in a vulnerable situation, your goal should be to obtain some sort of financial security. And you get financial security by, storing nuts for the winter and preparing for hardships, preparing for when you can't eat as well. Hammer didn't seem like a dude who really did that. And I think that's part of the reason why he went broke. Third thing I noticed when I read Hammer's story is, there's a problem with hip hop culture, man. Like hip hop culture, money is cultural. Money, investing, wealth building is very cultural. The reason, a large part of the reason that Black people don't have a lot of wealth is because we don't have a wealth building culture. If we had a wealth building culture, then every one of your children would know how to start businesses by the time they were 10. How many of you have children that know how to start a business? Do you have children that are 10 years old? Do they know what an LLC is? Do your children know what it means to own property? Do your children own shares of stock? Do you have your estate plan together? Like if you died today, would you have, do you have a will in place? Do you have life insurance? Do you have a trust? Any of that stuff. You don't have to have all of it, but just some of it. Have you even talked about it? See, we have a culture, we have a broke culture, we have a slave culture, we have a labor culture and a broke culture. And what I mean by that is that, and I'm not making fun of us, I'm not attacking anybody, but y'all know what I'm talking about, where you're used to living paycheck to paycheck. You're used to seeing people go through financial hardships. You're used to cousin Pookie calling in the middle of the night because they can't pay the rent, even though they've known that they've been broke for 3 weeks, right? They didn't make any plans for that, right? Or that they all bought, new shoes and whatever, went to see the Black Panther and all this other stuff, bought Popeye's chicken. But yet, when it's time to like actually handle certain things, they can't handle it because they knew the crisis was coming. It's almost like when the way we eat, right? Think about this. Like, and I'm not making fun of it because I'm part of this culture too, right? Like we'll eat like shit like Popeye's chicken, knowing it's greasy as hell, knowing it's gonna kill you, it's gonna give you diabetes, heart disease, heart attack, strokes, all that stuff. And then when the stroke happens, when the heart attack happens, when the diabetes kicks in, we start freaking out like, oh Lord Jesus, why are we being punished? Oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. This is so bad. This is so sad. We almost act like our actions had no connection to the outcome, right? And that's the thing that you do when you feel powerless. When you feel that you can't control your destiny, you start thinking that what you do has nothing to do with where you end up, right? You think that, well, you can work hard and do your best, but you can still end up broke, whatever. No, that's not true, right? But I know people that think that way. I don't know if you know people that think that way, that they literally think that no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you educate yourself, no matter how much you save or invest, you're still going to be in a bad spot because that's just where Black people end up. And so I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying that we need to call it out and kind of adjust that culture. And don't worry about adjusting it for the whole Black community, because the whole Black community is about 100, not 100 years. They're about 20, 30 years behind where we are right now. The fact that you're even here means that you're ahead of, 95% of all Black people. The majority of the community might hear it. They might be like, yeah, that's right. But they're not really going to do anything. Right. Or they may not even want to hear it. They, if I was some rapper talking about my baby's mama and how I was going to stab some Negro tonight and go buy me some Gucci bags, like I'd have 1,000 people on this live stream right now. Right. But because I'm talking about something that is leading to building and strength, that's not as popular. That's just not interesting. Some professor talking on the internet only interests people who really sort of, have a certain mindset, right? You have to have a certain degree of intelligence to absorb and internalize what I'm saying. You have to have a certain degree of discipline and commitment. You also have to just be sick of the shit. point. You have to get to the point. Like I had to get to the point where I was just sick of it. I was like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't trying to be nobody's slave. I ain't trying to be nobody's bum. I ain't trying to be fucking myself, for the rest of my life. I want a better life. I don't give a shit. I don't. And what I realized a long time ago, back in, when I was in college, is I said, there's some parts of black culture I just got to get away from. I got some of y'all acting like slaves. I ain't trying to be around none of that. No, I'm not gonna go with you and get shot up at the club. No, I'm not gonna be sitting with you partying on Saturday night when I could be studying. No, I'm not gonna be getting with every pretty girl that walks by so I can have babies, mamas everywhere, and STDs and kids I gotta pay for that I can't afford. I ain't touching none of that, right? I'm gonna try to play chess, not checkers, because too many black men end up in traps, and they end up in these traps for the same reasons animals end up in traps. Like an animal just doesn't think about it. An animal sees a piece of cheese and he's like, and next thing you know, pop, they got your ass, right? So I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying that this is for black people who don't want to be stupid. You can be stupid and be here, but the fact that you're here means you're smart, right? So you can be stupid, and we can make you less stupid, right? It's okay, right? We all do stupid things, but there's a point where you have to just say, I don't want to be stupid. So I think that with culture, one thing you got to understand about money, and I know things about money that people don't even know to be known. I don't even know the knowns and the unknowns. I know the unknown unknowns. I have done mathematical equations that you would not imagine. When you get a PhD in finance, the expectation is on a whole different level from like somebody who's just like a financial advisor. When you get a PhD in finance, you literally have to be able to write a textbook. Like you can't come back and say, oh, well, you can't come back and say, oh, well, I know all these facts because I read all these articles and these articles told me blah, 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 blah. You can't do that. You can't recite facts when you have a PhD. You have to create facts. You have to literally, if you share something and people already know it, then they're going to say, okay, now what? Yeah, we knew this. This was already in a book somewhere. What did you come up with? What did you discover on the frontier of economic knowledge and economic thinking? So the level of understanding is almost at a spiritual, cosmic level in the sense of like really seeing how so many factors integrate into your financial condition that you don't even think about. So like a Dave Ramsey type of guy can really tell you the nuts and bolts. Like, yeah, if you save money, you'll have more money, or your car note is too high, then you should probably get a cheaper car, right? They can tell you those things, but what they really may not be able to dig into as much, but they do touch on these things a little bit, is psychology is hugely important when it comes to money. Psychology drives the entire economy. Psychology drives family wealth. Psychology drives a lot of your outcomes. And so for black people, when when you talk about the fact that we need therapists to help us overcome our post-traumatic slave disorders and things like that, that's really important because that links to our wealth. Because you can't build wealth if you're thinking like a traumatized slave. Or if you're thinking like a person who believes in losing all the time, or doesn't have faith in yourself, doesn't have faith in your community, doesn't want to support anything positive, doesn't want to support your relatives when they start a business, or discourage each other's dreams, it's going to be hard to build anything. So the hip hop, unfortunately, is sort of this weaponized music. Not all of it, but a lot of it has become this weaponized music that is designed to really embed a culture of economic responsibility and economic pain. Like if you break down the lyrics and analyze the lyrics of rappers, and I go on shows like The Breakfast Club, right? So I study these rappers, like I study them like a scientist, like the way you study rats in a lab, because I really want to understand. I look at the imagery on the videos, and I watch the video over and over and over. I watched Tekashi 6ix9ine's Gunmo video about 100 times because I really want to understand why people like it, and I also want to understand what is it that makes this sell. Like, what is it about the colors and the images, and what are people doing on the video, and why is he holding why is he smoking, why is he drinking, why is he holding a gun, why is he wearing certain colors, what does that do to certain people's mindset? And when you study all this, what you realize is that hip hop is poison. Like hip hop really has become just so toxic in terms of us really giving away a lot of our power. And so what happens is that you listen to the music and it's telling you that if you get any money, give it all away. I don't know if y'all ever heard the song, I'm riding around and I'm getting it. It's mine, I spend it. It's mine, I spend it. So you're saying this over and over again, right? You're internalizing this lyric. I'm riding around, I'm getting it. It's mine, I spend it. Or what was it? What was the name? I forgot his name. He did a song with E40. I forgot, not Gucci Mane. It's another guy. Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti had a song, and the lyric was, "We live for today, fuck tomorrow." Right? We're living for today, fuck tomorrow. Right? So basically, like what he's saying, what he's doing is he's passing a message that encourages instant gratification. right? He's saying that you live for today. Like, stop worrying about tomorrow. Like, it's lame to be thinking about tomorrow. Like, who worries about tomorrow? Who cares about the future? Like, who cares? And the thing about it, and the reason that that's in contradiction to a wealth building mentality is because an investor is always thinking about the future. An investor will sacrifice every ounce of damn near every ounce of the future in order to control. Assume they will sacrifice every ounce of the present so they can control the future. Most people that control the present now are people that were planning for the present when the present was the future. Like, you don't control 2019 in 2019. You can't take over 2019 if you start in 2019. You take over 2019 when you started in 2009 or 2004, right? That's like, it's like you can't win the Super Bowl if you start practicing for the Super Bowl on the day of the Super Bowl. Like, that ain't gonna work. Teams that try to win a Super Bowl, they start preparing years in advance. They say we're rebuilding our team. We're gonna get some draft picks. It's gonna take about 4 or 5 years. We got to get the right coach. We got to pay millions of dollars. We're gonna prepare. Like, they're preparing, and then the day comes when you get the rewards for all those years of hard work. So ultimately, what I would say is that hip hop culture, unfortunately, has really to this point, not all of it, but a lot of it has pushed a lot of flashiness, a lot of waste, a lot of financial irresponsibility, a lot of poor choices that have financial consequences. For example, when you're encouraging men to sleep with every woman that walks by, then what you're doing is you're setting them up for like the Me Too movement. If you notice, Bill Cosby is going to lose everything. Why? Well, because of what was going on with his penis, right? Like, he was getting with all these women who were accusing him of things, right? And maybe if he were never alone with these women, then they couldn't accuse him of anything, right? So I'm not saying Bill Cosby's guilty or innocent, but when you're encouraging black men to be sexually irresponsible, you're also encouraging them to put themselves in vulnerable situations that will lead to them getting financially raped later on, right? Because first thing they do, if you are a rich man, and you slept with a woman and she feels wronged, or she wants to, she feels that you were inappropriate, and she's gonna go after that money. The Gloria Allreds are waiting for you to be sucked in and to be baited into situations where somebody can just accuse you of something because they know they're going to make money off the accusation. They don't care if you get all the way to the finish line. They don't care if you get convicted. They don't care if there's a jury trial. All they care about is that there's an accusation, and because they know a lot of people will pay just to make the accusation go away. It's like actually, I play poker a lot. I'm really good at poker. I love poker. Like, I played in tournaments that have 800 people and I got first place. I really enjoy that game because it's a game of strategy, math, and psychology. I don't put a lot of money into it because I'm not a gambler, but I love poker. It's a fascinating game. And one thing about poker is that a lot of times the people that win poker games are not the people that have the best cards. It's about sort of knowing how to send signals and position things in specific ways so that the person, even if they have better cards than you, they'll fold and give you all the money before you even get to the point where you show the cards you have. So basically what it means is that there's a whole game, a long game to be played, but some people know how to win the game before the game's even halfway done. So a Gloria Allred knows how to win the game against the black man because she knows, I don't need to get proof. I don't need to win a jury trial. I don't need to get a conviction. All I need is to get an accusation. If I get an accusation on you, then you're done. If I get an accusation on you, then I can collect my 10 million and move on. And then maybe later on, we'll figure out if you actually did anything, but that doesn't matter. That's not relevant, right? So that's the point I want to make with you guys. It's no disrespect to MC Hammer at all. I think that he's a brilliant man. He's done quite well for himself since that time. He's rebuilt his life, and I'm so proud of him for that. And I wish him the very, very best. But I really think that at the end of the day, we got to think about all these factors and just sort of learn from your environment, learn from what other people do, learn from the mistakes that they make. And I think Hammer's story is one where if we gain value from his mistake, then perhaps all of us can make better decisions as a result of that. So I'm about to go. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. Also, don't forget, if you want to learn more about business and investing, I teach at the Black Business School. We have lots of great experts there. We just added a Forex class, which is really good. We've also got people like Julian Gordon from Stanford University, who teaches real estate, and a lot of other experts and PhDs that have come through. Billionaire Mike Roberts came by and visited recently and talked to our students as well. So we've got legit people at the top of the pile. Dr. George C. Frazier, who is the networking guru of America. He's a regular guest. Dr. Claude Anderson, who does Powernomics, which is considered the second Bible in Black economics. Like, these are individuals that we've affiliated with deliberately. Kenny Gamble, who built the entire Philadelphia sound out in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia version of Motown. Like, we bring in people like this because we want real Black people who are doing real things, who are making real money, who understand real shit. Excuse my French. That's why we created the Black Business School, and you can get started. There's a free membership, so don't worry about the money yet. Later on, we might ask you to consider paying for a class, but they're very, very inexpensive. They don't cost you more on a daily basis than a bucket of Popeye's chicken, but they will give you lifetime value, and they won't give you heart disease, strokes, and diabetes like Popeye's chicken might. So you guys, I hope you guys will give it a try. Go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. Will your real estate class benefit me if I'm out of the USA? There are generalized benefits, but he actually teaches specifically based on what's going on in the US. However, Jackie, you ask a very good question, and we are going to actually expand and create programs for our international students. So so go to theblackbusinessschool.com, and also if you want to come to the All Black National Convention this weekend, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com to buy your pass and come on down. You'll love it. There's great networking. We're making plans. We're building strategies. We're doing all kinds of great stuff. Or if you want to watch via live stream, you can go to allblackeducation.com. That's allblackeducation.com. And of course, you guys see on my shirt, blackenough.com. That's our social media platform. So if you want to just socialize and interact and engage with other Black people who think like you in a Facebook-like kind of setting, go to blackenough.com. So we are building, we are creating, and we're creating these things for you. So I hope you'll participate in something, right? Because this is all here for you. So thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And I'll see you guys soon. You'll probably even see me today because I'm on the Black Financial channel. I do all different kinds of content all day long. So take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Be good. Peace.